What's up, everybody? This is Mason back with another episode. Today, I'm very excited. We have Dawn Dickson, the founder and CEO of PopCom, joining us. PopCom is a revolutionary automated retail technology platform for vending machines and kiosks. Dawn has been part of some of the nation's top accelerator programs for entrepreneurs and was named one of Inc. magazine's top 100 female founders. So let's bring Dawn on and learn more about PopCom.
Hi, Mason. Thanks for
How
having
are
me.
you? Thanks for joining us. We're
I'm
excited
doing
to have
great.
you. So
I'm doing great today.
good. So tell us, you're very established as a founder. I read a lot of great PR around your journey and the different startups you've been involved with. Why don't you just share with our audience your journey up until PopCom?
Yeah. I'm gonna make it brief because I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, and I'm gonna condense it in there quickly. But I got my start in tech when I went to school for IT in 2000, and I started my first tech company. Just got the tech bug after learning how to code and things in school. Started a website in Columbus, Ohio, where I'm from, that tells people um, where to go, what to do, entertainment, restaurants, bars, nightclubs. And at the time, there was nothing like that existed. There was no such thing as social media. There was no such thing as smartphones. And there was no website anywhere that you can go and find entertainment. So that website really took off and became an online resource for Columbus and Central Ohio. And that really put me on a different platform because we had a media outlet. It gave me a lot of access. It was like the first online media outlet. And so from there, started a consulting company to basically work with other companies to help them establish an online presence in marketing and media, which I just found myself to become an authority in online media and marketing very early, just kind of by accident. And I did that for 6 years. And then I started in 2010, a company called 2011 rather, a company called Flat Out of Heels. And they were rollable, they're still in business, rollable ballet flats for women when their feet hurt from wearing heels. So the idea came from me living in Miami at the time, going out, partying, going to Vegas all the time, partying in Vegas, and seeing women walking around barefoot on these dirty streets, or like in the club limping, or like in the club, like you can definitely tell their feet hurt. And so I said, okay, I want to solve this problem. I've never really worked in a consumer product, and I started an e-commerce store to do that. And I was selling a lot of shoes online, but then I got the idea, why don't I sell them in vending machines in the clubs or outside the clubs or the casinos or the airports or the nightclubs or wherever that, women are at wearing heels, and they can get immediate relief, because I never really seen anything sold in vending machines besides like beverages and snacks. But there's other things that you need on demand, including relief from high heel pain. So I started that, and that's how I got into vending. And that's kind of what led to PopCom, because after being an operator of vending machines myself for a few years, I kind of hacked my way through, getting my own vending machines. And I realized that I really couldn't grow my vending business because I didn't have any customer data. All of my vending machines reported each day was how much money I sold in shoes. But I really wanted to know things like my conversion rates, meaning how many people walk by versus how many actually purchase. I really wanted to be able to collect customer email addresses and send them emails and thank them and sell them more products, which is called remarketing. I really wanted to learn more about who my customer demographic makeup was. But none of these things existed in the vending space like Google Analytics does on websites. And so I decided to start a vending platform, a platform operating system, customer facing point of sale system for vending machines and kiosks to allow them to collect customer data using facial detection. So really high tech things, facial detection, machine learning, and really integrate these things into vending. So that's like a condensed version of my journey. Always been working in tech and in tech enabled spaces, but also always working to solve problems that I experienced.
Very cool. So yeah, that's the idea for PopCom. Why
Yeah.
don't you share with us what PopCom is today, what the product is? You guys are collecting that data. You have a software service. So um, take us through the product that is PopCom.
Yeah, so PopCom, we are a software company, software as a service, so referred to as SaaS. And what we make our money from primarily is selling a monthly subscription to vending machine and kiosk operators to help them operate and power their machine. So we provide, for example, like the Verizon. I give an example of a cell phone because it's easy to understand. You buy a cell phone, you get it, maybe it's Apple phone, maybe it's Android phone, but you have to pay Verizon monthly to make that phone work and make phone calls and send texts and emails. We do that for the vending machine. So we are actually the operating system that powers it. We also do sell hardware. So we don't manufacture hardware, but we're a full turnkey solution. So customers can come to us, which will be a retailer, and they say, hey, I want to sell makeup in vending machines. And so they can either order a machine from us and we'll source it through our suppliers and integrate it with our software, or we will, if they already have one, we'll integrate it. What you're showing right now on the screen is our proprietary patent pending machine called the Pop Shop. And even though we don't manufacture, we did invent our own hardware to help people to really understand the full scope of abilities from our software. On this machine you see here, we call it a digital pop-up shop because it's very, very robust. There are 2 cameras on this machine, 1 camera on the top screen that counts the traffic that walks by and delivers targeted content, advertising, and messaging based on the demographic profile of the person in front of the machine. The second screen is a point of sale system where you shop. That also has a camera. That camera tracks what the user is doing there. You know, are they happy? What are their emotions? How long they spend there? How long they spend on each page? And ultimately, if they convert, which means complete a sale. All the data we collect from both cameras goes into a dashboard. So you don't have to use our hardware, but our hardware really is the optimal use case for our software because 2 cameras can really gather and capture a lot of data.
Very cool. So you've had a lot of success crowdfunding, and I understand that you did a crowdfunding campaign for PopCom as well. What are some of the advantages and also the challenges of crowdfunding? And can you tell us how the campaign went for PopCom?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really a big fan of crowdfunding. I've always been a fan of crowdfunding since learning about the Jobs Act being passed through during the Obama administration in 2012. It took the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, several years to get it into effect to actually allow entrepreneurs to raise money from the public and also for platforms to be approved to be a broker dealer to actually trade private securities. But essentially what it is Jumpstart Our Business Startups allows entrepreneurs to raise money from both accredited and non-accredited investors. Accredited meaning that the individual makes $200,000 a year or has $1 million net worth, or as a couple, $300,000 a year, and of course, $1 million net worth. And for many, especially minority and let's say underrepresented entrepreneurs, we don't have many people in our network that are $1 million net worth. So we have to go out and source money from accredited angel investors and venture capital investors. But of course, depending on where you reside in the country, you may not have access to that investor base. And it is very difficult to secure venture capital investment. So even though I did raise over $1 million from accredited angels and venture capitalists, I really wanted to give my community an opportunity to invest in my business. And also I wanted to be able to really tap into my community and my support base. As I said, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. So at the point when I first crowdfunded, I think I was an entrepreneur like 18 years, and I had a lot of people that supported me, and I wanted to give them opportunity to invest. And also because investing in a crowdfunding campaign can be as low as $100 or $50. And in my case, my minimum was $250. And so in 2019, I set out to do this with really, not a lot of companies had done it, not a lot of popularity, but I was able to become the first female founder to raise over $1 million in a crowdfunding campaign in 2019. Really got a lot of media on that. I also used Facebook advertising to reach investors. And then again, in this year, 2020, I raised another $1 million. So I raised $1,070,000 last year. And this year I raised $1,040,000, which is the legal limit. The legal limit is $1,070,000. And so I've raised $2.3 million in the past, I'd say 14 months in crowdfunding.
That's awesome. And what I think is so interesting about it is you have so many people already in your corner wanting you to do well. I could see like every crowdfunding campaign I've joined, like I'll go out of my way to then buy the product, tell somebody else about the product, or if I saw your kiosk in the airport, I would go out of the way to just interact with it, which I think is really cool. You can have 5 investors, or you can have 1,000. And
I have 4,000, and they're all like a brand ambassador. So you're getting so much more than an investor. But like you said, Mason, it's like a fan and someone that feels like they're a part of something, and they really get excited to share it.
Agreed. We have an audience question from Scott Charles. He says, really inspired by your story. Hear you on some of the investment challenges in communities of color. What steps initially would you recommend to set up a crowdfunding campaign versus another strategy?
So, I mean, I want to be very transparent that crowdfunding is not easy because you're essentially selling securities to the public, and it's highly regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission. So in order to raise money from the public, you do have to file with the SEC, and there's a lot of things you have to go through in order to be approved, including financial reviews. They go through due diligence, which is a thorough review of all of your documentation of your company, your finances, a bad actor check to make sure that you and your team have not violated any type of securities rules or laws in the past or have any lawsuits. So it's very extensive due diligence. But if you raise money from anywhere, VCs included, you're going to go through a due diligence process. But what I would recommend you do is really start gathering and creating a due diligence data room. That's anywhere in the cloud. So you could use Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, or any of your preferred cloud service, and start to upload all of your company documentation and keep that organized monthly, including your financials, so your profit and loss statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements, financial projections, bank statements, credit card statements, employment agreements, any contracts you have with partners, and everything about your business they want to know. And it does take a while to gather these things if you don't already have them gathered. So that's the first step. Gather your due diligence. There's a website, it's duediligence.net, where you can get a really great example of a checklist, duediligence.net, to figure out what exactly you need to include in that. And then I would just start to research the platforms available. There are several platforms. I use Start Engine, but there's also Republic, WeFunder, Seed Invest. There's multiple, and see which one's the best for you, and see which one is the most affordable, because they do charge a fee.
Gotcha. Another audience question, Lisa Scavello asks, well, she states, "Few rock, amazing insights and info. Do you have a blog or other resources for entrepreneurs that you would recommend?"
So I actually have my own blog that I wrote to help founders really explore fundraising and other topics, and it's on Medium. So medium.com at Dawn Dickson, Dickson. I also enjoy listening to Arlen Hamilton's podcast, Your First Million, and then How I Made It. That's a good one. I also have a podcast myself on Apple and Spotify called Bars with the exclamation, so BARS exclamation. And it really is a 7-episode series that walks you through literally starting a business and how I did everything from the beginning to, when I started raising money for crowdfunding.
Yeah. So again, Dawn has been recognized as one of the top entrepreneurs. What you've done is incredible. I'm really excited about PopCom. Here we can see her, and is that Times Square there?
Yeah, I was a part of the NASDAQ Milestone Makers program, and as a part of that program, we were featured on Times Square, and we got to ring the opening bell for the NASDAQ, which was definitely goals, and it was really exciting to see my face up there.
That's awesome. So what's the timeline? When can we see PopCom in action? Are the kiosks going out? What locations are we expecting to see them? Who are some of your customers on the retail side?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for asking. So our machines are going to be delivered to our customers in Q4 of this year. So last year we raised that first round of $1 million to actually build a new prototype and new full-scale manufacturable CAD files, which is basically the blueprint of hardware. And then we updated our software. So we're well past the MVP stage, so the minimum viable product. We're in a really great full-scale software product. And so now we're taking orders, and the manufacturing is going to begin like next week. So we're just signing our last contracts, and then our customers will get those delivered. So the location is really based on what they sell. So PopCom doesn't own or operate machines. We sell machines and software. Our customers are retailers that want to deliver direct to customer faster. So they put those machines wherever their customer base is. So in some cases, it's an airport, a college campus, a mall. We have several customers that are coming out with PPE products. So that's like personal protection things. Of course, that's in demand these days. But we have customers doing things like selling hair extensions, eyelashes, makeup, of course, flat outs with shoes. And we also have a solution that allows customers to sell regulated products like cannabis and alcohol. So we do have a cannabis dispensary as a client in the Netherlands, and we also have one of the nation's top alcohol and beverage suppliers as a customer. I'm not allowed to say their name due to NDA, but we will be helping them to bring alcohol to vending machines this year, and our solution was approved by the California State ABC Board. So we have the first approved solution in the United States to sell alcohol in a vending machine without friction. So if anyone here listening has ever bought wine or beer from the grocery store, you know that you have self-checkout, but you can't self-checkout alcohol. You have to wait for them to come help you. So our solution will alleviate that and allow you to self-checkout for alcohol or cannabis or tobacco, and also purchase from vending machines. So it's going to be a big deal when this really scales in the market.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, was the regulated retail market. I think that's super interesting. You cited alcohol, cannabis. I saw you guys might be doing something in pharmaceuticals as well.
Yes, we have to take, smaller steps. We are a small team, and the task of bringing alcohol to market and cannabis at once is a big task, but we are talking to pharmaceuticals companies now. We don't see that happening this year because of the other things, but it's certainly something that we can do. And I think as we raise more money, our next round of funding will allow us to really tap into those markets more.
Very cool. Can you share a little bit on your pilot with Procter Gamble or any other brand product retail activations that you're currently working on?
Yeah, so I can tell you a story, about the Procter Gamble pilot, which is like definitely a story that I can share with entrepreneurs as a story to keep going. But we secured our pilot with Procter Gamble to sell Gillette and Venus razor blades. They paid in full for the pilot. Since we don't manufacture hardware, we outsourced the manufacturing to a partner. This was in 2018. And, basically, long story short, that manufacturer did not deliver the hardware, and they essentially stole or kept possession of our hardware. So we were not able to deliver that pilot in a timely manner, and so it was put on hold. So it never got launched because we had to go back and find an entirely new hardware manufacturing partner. That was a very devastating time for myself and my team because we couldn't deliver our products. We essentially had to start all over again. So that pilot never got to happen. They paid for it. It was all the way ready and done and in production, but they didn't get to. So this 2020 is really our first year coming out. We dealt with a lot of obstacles around finding the right partners to help us get to market because we're a software company. But we need hardware to scale, and we needed a very reliable, professional hardware partner. And at the time, 2018, we were underfunded. So we had to go with who we could afford to work with. Now that we've raised enough money, we raised a total of 3.3 million at this point, we can afford to work with more larger scale manufacturers. And so now we can, go to market. But the pilots we're most excited about are, of course, alcohol beverage, and then the cannabis pilot that's going to be in Crimmers in The Hague in the Netherlands. So our alcohol partner will put their machines in places like sports arenas, concert venues, anywhere where alcohol is consumed on premise. So when you buy it to drink it there. And then they're working on off premise as well.
Gotcha. So Josiah Harrison from the audience told us multiple times he thinks you should take on Amazon. He says, seriously, though, can you talk about vending versus delivery and other trends in retail?
I love that you asked that. You're such a smart listener, because that's one of my favorite things to talk about is that we help retailers close the last mile and compete with Amazon. When you think about it, no one else has same day, one day delivery but Amazon. So all other retailers are scrambling to try to meet those demands. And if your customer wants it now, they're so spoiled by Amazon that they may overlook the smaller guys. So we really level the playing field. And omni-channel, what is called as omni-channel, when you have multiple channels of sales, including online, in-store, or and now vending. We really want to bring vending into a true omni-channel retail strategy for everyone else. Amazon has lockers. Amazon has stores. Amazon has everything, right? And then the rest of us have to figure things out. So what we're doing is leveling that playing field. So now that we can offer lockers to our customers, so a small business that sells online can now get their locker from PopCom and deliver direct to customer faster. Or a small business can get a vending machine right next to a Best Buy machine in the airport and deliver direct to customer. They can do things like order online and pick up from a vending machine. They can do things like order from a vending machine and ship to yourself. So we're really trying hard to make sure that it doesn't turn into a monopoly, which it already is basically doing. If you hear Elon Musk very adamant about trying to break up Amazon, it's a real thing that Amazon is dominating retail, and it's really forcing everyone else to innovate quickly. And PopCom is really that solution.
That's great. Well, you've had an incredible journey as a founder. Give some advice to your peers out there, people starting their own businesses, wanting to do what you've done. What's the journey like, and what's some advice you could get?
Definitely my main advice. I have a couple of things. First, always have your paperwork in order. Do everything, legally. File your incorporations, get your EIN, get your bank account. Don't pay yourself out of your company bank account without just do everything like it's a corporation from the beginning. Don't mix your personal money with your business money, even as a small business. Have everything separate in the beginning so that you're able to scale and raise money and be a trustworthy business. I always say, don't hustle, build sustainable, scalable businesses that can grow and even outgrow bigger than you. Then after you have your paperwork in order, it's so important to really study and know your market well. Become a subject matter expert in not only your business, your industry, but all of your competitors. I have my competitors. I know them so well. I don't have real competitors, but I know the industry inside and out. And then, lastly, just have confidence and have faith in the process. They say it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. I've shared one of my many, many setbacks with you today when my vending machine was stolen. But there's many, many setbacks. I run out of money. I've had disappointments. I've had, bad team members that didn't work out. I've had a lot of things, but I kept going because I believed in what I was doing. I knew that I was the best person to do this. I know that the market needs what I'm building, and I trust myself. And I always say, trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. Because if this idea for the business was given to you, even if someone else does it, and even if it's out there, no one can do it like you. So have faith and confidence that can happen, and just don't give up no matter what.
That's awesome. Well, this is super cool. I'm excited to see your kiosk in action.
Me too.
Congratulations on everything to date, but I think the most exciting stuff is ahead. So thanks for coming on. I know you get a lot of PR requests. It was a pleasure to have you, and best of luck going forward.
Likewise, can I say one shout out? You can see the link in the bio. You can definitely, if you're interested in my company, you can join the waitlist to invest at startengine.com/PopCom. We have a lot of cool videos on YouTube. So on youtube.com/PopCom SAAS, you can see the machines working, our data, our team. So please just check us out, do your research, and feel free to drop me a line on LinkedIn, Dawn Dickson on LinkedIn, if I can help you in any way.
Dawn, thank you so much. Everybody go check that out. The videos are really awesome. If you had a hard time conceptualizing it during the interview, check it out.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everybody.
Thanks.